Hello and welcome back to the Console Xplosion Weekly Wrap-Up. I'm your host, the Historic Nerd, and our show's a little late today because I was playing something truly amazing. Oh man, they said the next generation of political simulation games are going to be amazing. The graphics in this are intense. Oh wait, I just ended up at a real rally. Oh, whoops. But jumping right into the events of last week, you have Bioware announcing a completely new kind of IP, and no one noticed. Apparently they have some kind of trailer going on. It's called The Chosen, The Impact teaser, which is kind of an interesting thing where it's just a little snippet revealing some kind of intriguing things about a potentially fun game. If it's from Bioware, there's a lot of really fun, progressive, good elements that they do in a lot of their games. Then the next thing we have to talk about is that basically Sony releasing more information about the Sony VR, dropping their price tag at $299, drastically undercutting the two other VR units on the market right now. It's notably the Vive at $800, and then also undercutting the Oculus, which is I think retailing around $600. So with that drastic kind of lower price, it makes them exponentially more competitive than the other VR units on the market. So that's almost like a repeat of their strategy for the Sega Saturn, where they just undercut their opponent and just washed them out of the market with sheer volume of units sold. So that's a pretty interesting thing that Sony's going to try and do. As to whether or not that's going to be translate into a really good device, but that paired up with the PS4 I think has a lot of gaming potential. And then after that, you have EA finally losing a suit involving the Madden franchise, where for years, essentially, Madden, because it's the same game over and over again, relatively with improvements, with the changes in gameplay, things like that, but something they got away with doing for a long time was not paying for updated license rights on the players themselves. And because they would argue that these are likenesses, not necessarily the same players, they could get away with doing it under the First Amendment interpretations of it. But apparently that was struck down now, and EA may be forced to pay a lot of money to a lot of different football players to continue this franchise going. So that could be really intriguing to see where EA goes with that. Odds are they'll keep fighting it in court as opposed to paying the players. But this is kind of an interesting precedent that can really impact how sports games are made and produced. And then the last thing we have to talk about is the dog that played Dogmeat from Fallout 4 apparently was given an award for his performance and the manner in which he played Dogmeat. So, for all the dogs out there like mine that are drunk and unemployed actors, get your shit together, man. Get out there. Act, you dogs. But moving on from that, on our last note, you have the new Han Solo being appointed. Miles Teller, most notable for his recent work in Fantastic Four, or Project X, or I guess the 2011 Footloose film. And he was also stated as saying that he hadn't seen the Star Wars films before this point. So as to how this is going to come together, I have no idea. I never found him that charismatic or even that interesting of an actor, so we'll see if he can hold an entire franchise on his backs. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But didn't seem like Fantastic Four held together too well on his back. But then again, that was also a tragic project from the get-go. That was almost just made to hold the licensed IP by Fox. So as to what they're going to do with Star Wars and have him as a lead for Han Solo, we'll see if he has the acting talent and ability to keep this going. Yeah, I have no idea how that one's going to play out. But anyway, thanks for watching the Console Xplosion Weekly Wrap-Up. I'm a Historic Nerd. If you want to catch up more of this stuff, we do this kind of weekly. So I highly suggest you like, subscribe, do whatever it is you do. But, come back. Say hello in the comments below. Thanks for watching.